Los Angeles, 1968. MGM Studios. The Wrecking Crew. Set. Sharon Fields was 24 years old, and this was supposed to be her big break. A speaking role in a Dean Martin film, 3 whole scenes, her name in the credits. After 2 years of extra work and bit parts, this was it. The moment everything changed. She'd been on set for 6 days. The crew was professional. Dean was kind. The director kept the energy light. It was everything she'd hoped Hollywood would be. Until Harvey Brennan walked onto the set. Everyone knew who Harvey was. Executive Vice President of Production at MGM. The man who greenlit projects. The man who ended careers. The man who decided which actresses got second chances and which ones disappeared. Sharon had never met him, but she'd heard the stories. Every actress in Hollywood had heard the stories. It was Thursday afternoon. They'd just wrapped a scene. Dean had gone to his trailer. Sharon was near the craft services table, getting coffee, when she felt a hand on her lower back. Not a tap, not a friendly pat, a hand, sliding down. She froze. "Sharon Fields," a voice said behind her, male, confident, too close. She turned. Harvey Brennan stood there, smiling. 53 years old, expensive suit, thinning hair, eyes that appraised her like merchandise. "Mr. Brennan," she said, trying to step back. His hand stayed on her back, moving lower. "I've been watching the dailies," he said. "You're good, natural. The camera likes you." "Thank you," she managed. Her heart was pounding. She tried to move again. He moved with her. "We should talk about your future. Your contract expires after this film, doesn't it?" "Yes, sir." "We could extend it. More films, better roles." His hand was on her hip now. "If you're interested in that kind of arrangement," Sharon's stomach turned. I need to get back to set," she said. "I'm talking to you." His voice hardened slightly. His grip tightened on her arm. "When an executive is talking to you, you listen." "I am listening." "Then listen to this. You want more work at this studio? You make time for me. Tonight, my office, 8 o'clock. It wasn't a question. Sharon felt tears burning behind her eyes. She'd heard about this. The meetings that were never about scripts. The career opportunities that required something in return. The unspoken rule: if you want to work, you play along. Don't think, Brennan said, his thumb pressing into her arm. "Just show up, unless you want this to be your last film." Across the soundstage, Dean Martin had just stepped out of his trailer. He saw them. Saw Brennan's hand on Sharon's arm. Saw the way she was leaning away. Saw the look on her face. He knew that look. He'd seen it before. On other actresses, other sets, other men who thought their power gave them the right to touch whoever they wanted. Dean started walking toward them. Not fast, not running, just walking, calm, deliberate. "Sharon," he called out, "they need you in makeup." Brennan didn't let go. "We're having a conversation," Brennan said, not even looking at Dean. Dean stopped in front of them, up close now, looking directly at Brennan's hand on Sharon's arm. "Conversation's over," Dean said quietly. "Let go of her arm." Brennan finally looked at Dean, smiled, didn't let go. "Dean, didn't see you there. Sharon and I were just discussing her career." "I said let go of her arm." The set had gone quiet. Crew members stopped moving. The director looked over. Brennan's smile disappeared. "This doesn't concern you, Martin." "On my set," Dean said, his voice still calm, still quiet. "Everything concerns me. Let go." For a moment, nobody moved. Then Brennan released Sharon's arm. She immediately stepped away, putting distance between them. "Go to makeup," Dean said to Sharon, not taking his eyes off Brennan. "Take your time." Sharon left, almost ran. Brennan straightened his tie, his face red. "You don't know who you're talking to." "I know exactly who I'm talking to," Dean said. "Harvey Brennan, studio executive who thinks his position gives him the right to touch women without their permission. Careful, Martin. I can make life very difficult for you." Dean took a step closer. His voice dropped even lower. "And I can make this very public. Your choice." They stared at each other. Brennan laughed. Tried to make it sound casual. "You're making a big deal out of nothing. I was just being friendly." "You grabbed her arm when she tried to leave. You told her to meet you in your office tonight. That's not friendly. That's coercion." "She misunderstood." "I didn't misunderstand. I saw it." Brennan's jaw tightened. "One actress complains, and you think you're a hero?" "She didn't complain. She was scared. Too scared to tell you to stop. That's the whole problem." Dean turned to the crew, who were all watching now. "Everyone take 5, he said loudly. "We're going to have a conversation." The crew started to move. "Stay," Dean said. They stopped. Dean looked at Brennan. "You want to have this conversation in private or in front of 60 witnesses?" Brennan's face went pale. "You wouldn't dare." "Try me." The soundstage was completely silent. Dean raised his voice so everyone could hear. "Harvey Brennan just sexually harassed one of our actresses. I saw it. He grabbed her. He propositioned her. He threatened her career when she tried to leave. I'm not going to pretend I didn't see it." A few gasps from the crew. Murmurs. Brennan's hands clenched into fists. "This is slander. I'll sue you." "Sue me. I have 60 witnesses. How many do you have?" Brennan looked around at the crew. Every face was watching him. He tried to regain control. "This is absurd. I made a friendly comment. You grabbed her arm hard enough to leave marks. That's assault." "I barely touched her. Your hand was on her hip, without permission. That's sexual assault." The words hung in the air. Sexual assault. Nobody said that out loud. Not in 1968. Not in Hollywood. You whispered about it. You warned other actresses. But you didn't call it what it was. Dean just did. Brennan's voice shook with rage. "You have no idea what you're doing. I will destroy your career." "I don't care." "You're under contract for 3 more films. Cancel them. I'm not working for a studio that employs men like you." The director stepped forward, nervous. "Dean, maybe we should discuss this privately." "No," Dean said firmly. "This happened publicly. We address it publicly." He looked at Brennan. "You have 2 choices. You leave this set right now and never come back. Or I walk off this film, hold a press conference, and tell every reporter in Hollywood exactly what I saw. Your move." Brennan was shaking. With anger or fear, it was hard to tell. "The studio will never back you on this." "Then I'll take it to the press anyway. And they'll believe me. Because they've heard stories about you for years. I'm just the first person willing to say it on the record." That landed. Brennan knew it was true. "Fine," he spat. "I'll leave, but this isn't over." "Yes, it is," Dean said. "You're not just leaving the set. You're leaving the studio. I'm making sure of it." Brennan laughed bitterly. "You can't fire me. You're an actor." "No. But I can refuse to work for any studio that employs you, and I will. Every film in my contract gone. Unless you're gone first." Dean turned to the assistant director. "Call Studio Legal. Tell them Dean Martin is refusing to continue production until Harvey Brennan is permanently banned from all MGM sets." The AD hesitated. "Now," Dean said. The AD left. Brennan stood there, realizing Dean was serious. "You'll regret this." "The only thing I regret," Dean said quietly, "is not doing it sooner. For every other actress you've done this to." Brennan left. The soundstage erupted in whispers. Dean found Sharon in her dressing room 20 minutes later. She was sitting on the couch, shaking. "You okay?" he asked. She shook her head, started crying. "I'm going to lose my job. He'll blacklist me. I'll never work again." "No," Dean said firmly. "He's the one who's going to lose his job. Dean, you don't understand. Men like him don't lose. They get away with it. They always get away with it. Not this time. You can't fight the studio. Watch me." 2 days later, MGM held an emergency meeting. Studio executives, lawyers, Dean's agent, and Dean. The head of the studio, Robert Whiteman, sat at the head of the table. "Dean, we understand you're upset." "I'm not upset," Dean interrupted. "I'm done. I'm not working for a studio that protects sexual predators. Harvey Brennan is a valued executive. Harvey Brennan sexually assaulted an actress on my set. I saw it. That's a very serious accusation. It's a very accurate description." Whiteman sighed. "Dean, these situations are complicated." "No, they're not. He grabbed her. She tried to leave. He threatened her career. It's assault. It's coercion. It's wrong. Nothing complicated about it." The lawyer spoke up. "Mr. Martin, without corroboration?" "I'm the corroboration. I saw it. With all due respect, one incident is one too many. But I'm guessing it's not one incident. I'm guessing Harvey's done this before." Silence. Dean leaned forward. "How many complaints have there been? About Harvey? Over the years? How many?" The lawyer looked uncomfortable. "Personnel matters are confidential." "How? Many." Whiteman and the lawyer exchanged glances. There have been informal complaints, Whiteman admitted. How many? We don't have exact. Guess. Whiteman took a breath. 6, maybe 7. Over the past 8 years. The room went very quiet. 6 women, Dean said slowly, complained about Harvey Brennan sexually harassing them, and he's still employed. Those complaints were investigated, and, in each case, it was determined to be a misunderstanding. Dean stared at him. A misunderstanding, 6 times. Different interpretations of interactions. Stop, Dean said, his voice hard. Just stop. You didn't investigate anything. You protected him, because he makes you money, and you told those women to shut up. Whiteman's face reddened. That's not... Is Sharon Fields the first woman Harvey propositioned on a set? Silence. Is she? No, Whiteman admitted quietly. Dean stood up. Then I'm done. Cancel my contracts. I'm not working for MGM while Harvey Brennan is employed here. Dean, you can't. I can, and I am. And when I walk out of here, I'm calling the press. I'm telling them exactly why. Sexual harassment cover-ups, 6 complaints ignored, Sharon Fields assaulted, and MGM choosing to protect the harasser instead of the victim. The lawyer stood. That would be defamation. Truth is an absolute defense. Sue me. Let's go to discovery. Let's put all 6 women on the stand. Let's see how that plays in the press. Whiteman put his head in his hands. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Then Whiteman looked up. What do you want? I want Harvey Brennan fired today, and I want a formal investigation into every complaint that was filed and ignored, and I want those 6 women to know that this studio believes them and failed them. If we fire Harvey without cause, you have cause. 7 complaints, 7 women. I'm witness to 1 assault. That's cause. The lawyer leaned over, whispered something to Whiteman. Whiteman nodded slowly. If we terminate Harvey's employment, will you continue with your contracted films? If you also implement a harassment reporting system, anonymous, independent, so women don't have to report to the men who are harassing them. That would require... That's the deal. Take it or leave it. Whiteman looked at the lawyer. The lawyer nodded. We'll do it, Whiteman said. Dean sat back down. In writing, today. 1 week later. Sharon Fields got a phone call. It was from a woman named Linda Torres, a lawyer. Miss Fields, my name is Linda Torres. I represent 12 women who have filed harassment complaints against Harvey Brennan. Dean Martin hired me to represent all of you. Sharon sat down slowly. 12 women? 6 previous complaints at MGM, 4 from other studios, 2 independent contractors, all describing similar behavior, all either ignored or paid to stay quiet. I didn't know. None of you knew about the others. That's how they keep it quiet. Isolate you, make you think you're alone. You're not alone, Miss Fields. Sharon started crying. What happens now? Now, we file a formal complaint. Not with the studio, with the police. Sexual assault charges. Against Harvey Brennan. Will anyone believe us? Dean Martin is willing to testify. He's the corroborating witness. And with 12 women telling the same story, they'll believe us. Harvey Brennan was fired from MGM on March 15, 1968. It made the trades. Studio executive, dismissed following harassment allegations. The story mentioned complaints from multiple employees, but didn't name Sharon or the other women. Dean had insisted on that. They've been through enough, he told the studio. Don't make them relive it in public. But the story didn't stay quiet. Within a month, all 12 women had come forward voluntarily. Not to the press, to the police. The investigation took 6 months. Harvey Brennan was charged with 4 counts of sexual assault. He pleaded no contest to 2 counts, sentenced to 18 months in prison. Suspended sentence, probation, registered as a sex offender. He never worked in Hollywood again. Sharon Fields' career. After The Wrecking Crew, Sharon's role was expanded. Dean had insisted. She was supposed to have 3 scenes, give her 6, and actual dialogue. The studio complied. Sharon went on to a successful television career through the 1970s and 80s. She became a producer in the 1990s, one of the first women to run a production company in Hollywood, and she never forgot. October 2017. The #MeToo movement exploded. Harvey Weinstein. Accusations. Dozens of women. Decades of abuse. And Sharon Fields, now 73 years old, gave an interview to the New York Times. Everyone's acting like this is new, like Harvey Weinstein invented sexual harassment in Hollywood. He didn't. This has been happening forever. But so has fighting back. The reporter asked her to explain. In 1968, an executive named Harvey Brennan sexually assaulted me on a film set. He grabbed me, propositioned me, threatened my career. I was 24. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. She paused. Dean Martin saw it happen, and he didn't look away. He didn't pretend not to see. He confronted Brennan right there, in front of 60 people. He got him fired. He hired a lawyer for all 12 of us. He testified. He used his power to protect us when we had none. What Dean Martin did in 1968, Sharon said, is what we're finally doing now in 2017. He believed women. He amplified our voices. He risked his career to fight for us. He showed that when men with privilege use it for good, predators lose. The interview went viral. Within days, Dean Martin was being hailed as a pre-Me Too hero, someone who fought sexual harassment 50 years before it had a hashtag. Dean's daughter, Dina Martin, responded, "My father never talked about this. He didn't do it for credit. He did it because it was right, because Sharon Fields deserved to work without being assaulted, because 12 women deserve to be believed." She paused. He used to say, "You don't get a medal for basic human decency." That's how he saw it. Not heroic, just necessary. The industry impact. After the Brennan case, other studios quietly began implementing harassment policies. Not because they wanted to, because Dean's refusal to work created a precedent. If one major star could walk over harassment, others might too. Studios couldn't afford that, so they protected themselves by finally protecting women. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't enough, but it was a start. 50 years before Me Too. Final interview. Sharon Fields, 2018. People ask me what Dean Martin was like. Was he really that cool, that charming, that smooth? And I tell them, he was better than that. He was brave. He was principled. He saw a woman being hurt, and he stopped it immediately, without hesitation, without worrying about his career or his contracts or what the studio thought. He just did the right thing. And then he made sure Brennan faced consequences, real consequences, not a slap on the wrist, not a quiet resignation. Prison, registration, career over. Sharon's eyes filled with tears. Dean Martin saved my career. But more than that, he saved my sense of self-worth. He showed me that I deserved respect, that I deserved safety, that my voice mattered. He did that for me and for 11 other women. That's not cool. That's not charming. That's heroism.